Here's a few of my favorite things for embroidery, and fortunately the stash just grows as you grow to love this hobby. So let's start with a few of the basics, and one of the very basics is thread. Thread is a consumable that is just part of embroidery, and you will find that there is different brands and different colors, and there can be thousands of threads that end up in your stash. You can shop for thread based on a few factors. One is price point, the other is the quality of the brand and the reputation, and generally you will find a bit of a difference, and some threads will run better on certain brands of machines than others. So you want to try different brands, and you're going to want to make sure that once you find the ones that you like, you stock up on as many colors as possible, because colors can make or break an embroidery design. You'll also find that your journey will start with a standard 40 weight embroidery thread, but you can go crazy from there. You can get into lighter weight threads for finer detail, heavier weight threads, you can get into matted threads, wool threads, synthetic threads. There's so many different options, and if you use the appropriate needles based on the weight of the thread, you can start playing with all kinds of possibilities. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is add stabilizers. If you've started your thread stash, your stabilizer stash will quickly grow, and as it grows you're also going to be able to use different stabilizers for different applications, and that is part of the embroidery process as well. Most likely you're going to start with the standards like a tearaway, cutaway, you have no-show mesh, you have water-soluble stabilizers, as well as toppers, but the list will quickly grow. For most embroidery projects, you're going to want to make sure that you have your cutaways and your tearaways in place, and then you can start adding from there. Now we'll cover a few of my favorite little accessories, and we'll start with T-pins. T-pins come in different sizes, and I'll use those for putting my placements of my templates that I print out so I know where my designs are going to go. I also will use them to better secure my fabric or my stabilizer within my hoops. I also like to use regular painter's tape. I don't have any specific brand. I usually pick up whatever is on sale, to be quite honest, but this just allows me to hold things in place temporarily, because at Embroidery Legacy we do a lot of in-the-hoop projects, and painter's tape is one of our staples. Now they say every good embroiderer has put a needle through their finger at least once, and I've done it twice, so that makes me either really good or, well, we'll fill in the rest. But this has saved my fingers on numerous occasions. This is just a little cuticle, I guess, thing that you use for your nails. I got like 1,000 of them in a little bag, and every time I do an applique or I want to make sure that my material is in place, the last thing I'll use is a metal object, because this could damage your machine. I'll just use this little piece of wood. It's great for doing all kinds of things. If I am doing 3D foam, it has a little pointed edge where I can actually pop in my foam, has a straight edge on the other side, and it's a perfect guide for making sure your fingers are staying away from that needle. Now you'll also find that you are going to acquire a scissor stash, and it'll probably be quite large, but we all have our favorite scissors. We need to have those scissors that you probably get for kids to do crafts. These are for cutting paper and all the stuff that you do not want to damage your good scissors that are meant for threads and fabric. So that's a staple. Just get a cheap pair of scissors that you'll use for all of the insignificant things during the day. But then you'll want to make sure that you invest some money in quality scissors. These are Kai's. They actually are incredibly sharp, incredibly durable, and if you treat them with love and respect, they will last you years and years. Now this is my all-time favorite scissor. It is a Ginger 6-inch double-edged curved scissor. I've been using these in production for decades. It actually has a blade that points upwards, which if I'm doing some fine cutting of appliques or any in-the-hoop projects, that upward pointing of the blade means I'm not going to cut through my fabric or my embroidered item, but I'll cut just the things that I want to. They are incredibly sharp, and Ginger is known for quality, so this is one you'll want to make sure you invest in. Now the last thing is hoops and hooping aids. We have all kinds of hooping aids which vary on price. Placement is incredibly important when it comes to embroidery. If a design is going one way or the other, you don't want to turn your head to actually look like the design's in place. Your embroidery should be nice and straight, and it should be in the proper position based on the size of the garment. And that's where these jigs and all of these hooping stations come in place, because you can hoop perfectly every single time once you set them up for all of your items. Now hoops, this is a subject which we will probably do a longer length video on in the future, but there are different types of hoops, going from commercial hoops, which generally start at round hoops. And round hoops are the way the industry did things probably 25, 30 years ago when I was doing commercial embroidery. We always embroidered with a round hoop for 90% of our items. And then we saw in the home industry the hoops that you're probably running even on your 6 needle, 10 needle machines that are crossover machines, or your home machines, they are all rectangular in nature. And when I came into this industry from the commercial to the home and I saw all of these rectangular hoops, I didn't know what was going on because all I saw was potential problems. A round hoop will hold your fabric in securely every direction all at the same time, and it greatly reduces all of the pull within a design. There are little things, tips and tricks that we have. I already mentioned T-pins. There's, you can wrap your hoops with tape. You can use some foam placemats and make yourself little windows. We have all kinds of different suggestions within our site on how to make these rectangular hoops more secure in these long straightaways where the fabric will have a tendency to pull, because there's only 4 corners that are held securely. All the other straightaways, based on how long they are, they will pull even more. And that's where we come into my new all-time favorite, and that is the Mighty hoops. The Mighty hoops are rectangular in nature, but that doesn't matter anymore because they are magnetic all the way around, and they are mighty. I gotta make sure my fingers are out of the way because they clamp in tight, and there is equal pressure all the way around these hoops, even on the straightaways. So this is an embroiderer's best friend, and anytime I can use a Mighty hoop, I will, because my results are going to be 10 times better. So this is just a small sampling of some of the best embroidery accessories in the industry. We're going to be adding to this list, and more tutorials will be added, so make sure you follow us and make sure you watch that next video. Be sure to comment down if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video.